Good evening, gentlemen. Lawrence of Asia coming at you from Penang, Malaysia. And we're talking about optimal living, how to live an optimal life. And this will be off the cuff, but right off the bat, gentlemen, you have to live in gratitude. Gratitude is the best attitude. And with an attitude of gratitude, regardless of what life looks like, it can be absolutely bright. So that's an internal job and something you have full control over. Now, a lot of people fall into the belief that their life is, and their mood is based on their circumstance and their perceived degree of success or lack thereof. And I believe that the most successful person is the one who has the deepest gratitude, because in reality, all of life is a grand miracle. And you can have all the things, all the trappings of the world, but if you're not genuinely grateful, you're not genuinely enjoying them, nor your life. So, attitude of gratitude is essential for living optimally. Another one, gentlemen, for myself, an absolute must is freedom of movement. So for this, less is more. When you own less things, when everything can fit into a small backpack or a small carry-on suitcase, then you don't need as much. You're free to move around. So, contracts, mortgages, apartment contracts, rental agreements, cell phone bills, insurance, all these different things, obligations even to work. Good morning. They give us the form of obligation, right? And then we're less easily able to be mobile and free to move around. For me, that's a quality, one of the tickets to a quality life is absolute freedom of movement. Another, gentleman, for an optimal life would be ideal sleep. For this, one thing that comes to mind very strong is, the importance of surrendering to rest in the evening and not staying on one's phone, allowing oneself to put the phones down prior to bed, turning the lights down, and surrendering to rest. All right, gentlemen, another aspect to living an optimal life. What are some? Also, in this world that we live in, this matrix that we're born into, we do also need money, right? So I'd say money of some kind. And, when you work for a job, you have to trade time for money. So I'd say some form of business or trade that you can do on your own schedule, right? Because if you're doing work and it's not by your own schedule, then you don't really have that time freedom yet. Does that make sense? So freedom of movement is facilitated by your ability to create value and have a business that allows you to be location independent, or a job that allows you to be location independent, that you can do on your own schedule. And the more you're able to do that, the higher, more optimal your life will be. The other, gentleman, is spirit, gentlemen. One cannot be swayed by tempting spirits, lust, greed, etc. One must have peace in one's heart to live an optimal life. Another, gentleman, is this comes back to spirit, but it's just simply well-wishing. It's the attitude of well-wishing those around you, wishing everyone around you well, right? Not being envious or hateful, but genuinely wishing those around you well. And in doing this, you yourself are blessed and you're harmonizing and beautifying the world around you. It's quite loud down here, but wow, look at these lovely, lovely boats here. I have a dream to sell around the world. Had a couple big sailboats here, some smaller ones too. There's a massive one here, catamaran. They got a dinghy there on the back. But anyway, tomorrow I'll be flying to Thailand. For optimal living, I gotta say that one thing that actually does matter, especially in this physical incarnation, is quality of air. These days, many places in Asia, the air quality in many of the cities is so bad. And not many people really talk about it or make mention of it, but it does greatly affect the quality of one's life. And I find myself, when I'm just in places with optimal clean air, I'm relatively content and I'm at peace. Another tenet of living an optimal life would be balancing one's life with nature. That which is natural for yourself, but that also which is in line with nature, so that you're not spending too much time in cities around unnatural stimulus, because that pulls and prods our mind in ways that are unnatural and discontenting. So something to keep in mind, balancing one's life with nature, not spending too much time in the cities. It's good to break out of the cities, spend enough time out of the cities. Gentlemen, that might be enough for now. I'm gonna go have a coffee, and I'm actually gonna take you into my favorite coffee shop here in Penang, and we'll order some coffee, and then soon after I'll sit down and do my journaling. Another tenet for an optimal life, gentlemen, a gratitude journal. Keeping track of one's life, right? Journaling, right? Something to keep oneself on track. Yeah. A life. What is it? Not undocumented, but a life that's unexamined. The unexamined life is not worth living, right? So you want to examine your life and always be pushing, right? Always be optimizing, beautifying your life. Sometimes that means surrendering. All right, gentlemen, I'm gonna step into the coffee shop, so I may be quiet for a moment or two. I'm well, how are y'all? Yes, great. It's good to have that early, good job. Hello, good morning, how are you? Can I please get a cappuccino? Yeah, thank you. So this is my favorite coffee shop. They have good coffee and the staff is very, very sweet. They're really cool people. So the place is called Full of Beans, right? You can scan that code right there and get 10% off for your next coffee. No, I'm joking, but yeah, you can you can definitely check it out if you ever do come here to Penang. However, I will say Penang is not my favorite place and is not going to be one of my recommendations. Maybe good for families to some degree, but maybe too crowded and a little bit tough to really get into nature, right? So that's how I see it anyway. Also, optimal living, physicality, getting into the gym daily. I just did some yoga before I came out. Very brief, probably about 4 minutes of yoga only. Very, very brief, but something. And I count it as a win. And that's how I think about things is, win, 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 win. Build your life. It's easy to sit on the phone digesting something that's not really beautifying your life or bettering you, right? And you don't know if you're going to win by watching, let's say, the next YouTube video. You don't know if that's going to really benefit your life per se. However, there are things that you can do that you know 100% are going to better your life. Yoga is one of those things, stretching out. Exercise is one of those things, not overdoing it, but definitely pushing yourself. So, I push myself a lot, and that is certainly another aspect to optimal living. Gentlemen, I do believe I may very soon create a community in school.com. I believe I will put myself there in reference to optimal living, freedom of movement, which will inevitably have some form of focus on living in Asia, as that's where I have lived for most of the last 15 years. So, all right, we'll catch you in the next one, gentlemen. See you soon. Peace. God bless.